Yeah, while we're on this subject, I think everybody's awake now. What would you say to young brothers and sisters attracted to one another? What would you say about a young brother and sister, if I may use the term, falling in love with each other? And if they do, what is your advice? How should they conduct themselves?
See, I personally don't believe there's anything wrong in falling in love, because I think we did both fall in love with each other. But the basis on which we loved each other was not physical. You see, it's true that I'll tell you absolutely honestly that I found her very attractive physically, and I still do. Because beauty is not determined by these Miss Universe contests. Beauty is more than physical. It's a total thing. And as I see it, it was the spiritual part which is primary but not the only. I felt that it's perfectly right if you are drawn to a person because of spiritual values first, not just because you want to get married. Because some people, just because they want to get married, get attracted to somebody and they're very unhappy. Within 6 months they wish they hadn't got married. I've been married 35 years. I'll tell you the honest truth before God. I have seen numerous girls in many parts of the world. I've never felt that I could ever have married any one of them. I mean, my honest conviction is that if I hadn't married Annie, I'd probably have been single for the rest of my life, because I just didn't find anybody. So it was not a question of, okay, this is the only one available, I better get married. It wasn't like that for me. For some people it may be, I don't say it's wrong, but for me it wasn't like that. I pray that whoever gets married, they'll be drawn to someone through spiritual factors. And it may be, you see, ours is, in a sense, we didn't go dating for so many days and then discover each other. We sought God. And I say God is not the prisoner of any culture. He's not bound to Western culture. Or in the West they do it one way, in the East they do it the other way. God is the one who leads the people who date, and God's the one in India who leads the people who know, God knows in their culture they cannot date. So what? But God is not the prisoner of a particular culture. And whichever way we do it, God must lead us. And then we'll have a very happy marriage.
How long did you have to wait? Did you all have to wait till you got married?
Yeah, well, because her parents objected, it was about 10 months after we ourselves decided that we would accept each other, a little over 10 months, that we actually got married.
So, what would you say, I mean, in that time, how much did you know of each other?
Well, by correspondence, and she was living in the middle of Maharashtra and I was traveling here and there, and we could write letters. But when her father said no, then no correspondence. He said, then we mustn't, we respect, I believe that we must honor our parents. I said, your father is a believer, we must honor him, we will do what he says. If he says no, we commit it to the Lord. And I didn't write. And then when her father finally came home and agreed to it, to my home, that is, to my parents' home, agreed to it, then we could correspond more freely.
Sister, you're not looking for a doctor to be married to, is it?
I just wanted God's will in my life. Even when I was a medical student, I spent most of my free time with the Evangelical Union and visiting the hospital and arranging meetings for fellow students. So I was interested a lot in serving the Lord. So I was not primarily interested in a doctor. But sometimes I used to think that my classmates who married doctors, they did well in their profession because both were doing the same thing. But in my case, my goal, my goal was not my profession. So that was okay with me.
I suppose you don't have any regrets that you didn't marry a doctor?
No, I have no regrets about that.
Now, in this time while you have waited for one another, I mean, did you daydream and fantasize?
Oh, sure.
In a good way.
Plenty.